get water. Dang it. Oh, well. How you doing, monkey? You doing well? You ready? You ready, Freddy? She's all plumb tuckered. She's been playing with little kids all day. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is time. It's after dark. Well, actually, it's still a little bit light out there, so it's not quite after dark yet. It's during dark? At dark? Not quite sure. But it's Use of a Problem, episode 442. Oldsmobile 442, baby. Muscle car. Blah, 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 blah. Bits of news today. The CPI, garbage. Inflation's back up to 3.5%. Massive downturn. Market's lost 1,000 points or so in the last couple of days. But what got revealed today is that large banks institutions, BlackRock, Nomura, JP Morgan, etc., were getting tipped off by the Federal Reserve days ahead of time as to what the CPI was going to be. Meaning it allowed them to do insider trading and shore up their holdings and benefit from this information ahead of time. That's illegal. My guess is that there may be some criminal charges going out to whoever was doing this. And that's bad. That's not good. You do not want your large institutions doing insider trading against their retail interests, or anyone else for that matter, knowing this information ahead of time. There's a whole reason why they keep it secret until they reveal it. So, that's interesting. What else did I put in the... I can't remember. It's an hour ago when I put the thing together, monkey. I still haven't printed out a board thingy, but I did put a link for... Beto, big ass Mexicans, GoFundMe. Remember, he broke both his legs. So if you're in the description, hit the link there and donate to that man. He could use it. He's a good guy. He's in a tough spot. Breaking both your legs is not conducive to earning a family income, especially in this country where we have no ability to help people when they're in trouble via society itself. So anyway. By all means, help a brother out, and we'll be stoked. Okay, do I have anything else I want to throw in here? Might as well after dark it. Boom. Oh shit, not that one. I get in trouble for that one. Dang it. That's the one that I get docked for the music because the music is not DRM free yet. I can do this one. This is the one I need. There we go. Jumping burgers.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay. Oh, bam. Off. There we go. Okay. So. Don't want anything else. Oh, the other information that came out was the Canadian Bed Bath & Beyond declared bankruptcy. I think it was February 10th of last year. And we're under a hush order where they weren't allowed to talk about it until May 1st. Meaning that was kept hidden. They weren't allowed to do anything with resolving creditors or selling estates or leases or anything like that stuff until after the U.S. folks declared their bankruptcy, which is very weird. Very weird indeed. The Texas taxes were settled. Trump has lost all of his appeals to delay the start of the New York fraud trial, which I think is scheduled to start on Monday. And is that all we got? That's all I can think of at the top of my head at the moment. Oh, and Iran is threatening to strike the United States if they respond to the retaliation for the Israeli attack in Damascus. So basically World War III is going to happen. So we got that going for us. Yay. Yeah. Kyle Weber, Houston. I just finished a really tough workout meant for toddlers. I can really feel it in my head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Hey, there's Bam, big ass Mexican. Houston, thank you for shouting out the GoFundMe. I should be listening in today unless they come in and give me some medication, but appreciate everything. Thanks for everyone donating. Every little bit helps. By all means, help a man out. Hopefully we're getting that total up there a little bit. I have not refreshed. Hey, we're $1,000. Sweet. So raised $1,000 so far for Beto. Come on. Bing, 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 bing. There we go. So we're at $1,000 so far. Fantastic. The link is in the description, and I'll throw the link here as well. The leg breaks are pretty gnarly. He's a big fella, so big fellas take a long time to recover from big breaks. To help him out. I didn't turn off the butterfly one. It's Wednesday night, just. Scratch my dog right behind the ears.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, turn that one off. Is everything off? Looks like it. Okay. Oh, the other thing that came out was Ryan Cohen posted a picture of himself with Javier Milei. I wonder what the hell they're doing. On a side note, starvation's at its highest point ever in Argentina, as Milei basically kicked everyone off of the food rolls. And food insecurity is at all-time high. So he's got that going for him down in Argentina. If you want to foment a revolution that will result in you probably hanging from a bridge, make sure your population starves. That's a great way to do it. If you cannot secure the food for your people, especially a country that is a net exporter of food, if you can't figure out how to get the people fed with that food first, you're not going to last very long. But hey, he's here in America, probably trying to drum up support from lots of weirdos to help him out down there. Cal Weber, seriously though, can you give your 60-second bull thesis for GME? Lots of insider buying. Larry bought 10,000 shares and profitable is great, but what else is bullish in your opinion? I think the Larry Chang purchase was something that was established like 10 months ago. It was filed for. I don't think this has to do with anything with any possible blackout period. But GME has gone from losing hundreds of millions of dollars a year to being profitable and having over $1 billion in cash on hand. What they do with that $1 billion in cash on hand is anybody's guess. They might do stock buybacks. They might invest in other companies, become a holding company itself, mergers, reverse mergers. My guess is that the GameStop is going to be used mostly as a holding company. There will be a GameStop corporation that does GameStop things, but they're going to branch out and they're going to start gobbling up other areas. If they're going after the Berkshire model, you're going to get insurance in there. You're going to have some sort of insurance company, because insurance companies are cash printers. So I would not doubt if they do that. But I think what we're waiting on the pump and dump case to be over. And when the pump and dump case is over, announcements can start coming in. And those announcements, I think, will involve acquiring the shell of Bed Bath & Beyond, BBBY, utilizing the Knowles and doing a reverse merger with someone else, and able to acquire a larger company for fewer amount of money because of that SPAC opportunity. So I think that stuff's coming. So there's things happening. I just want announcements now. Make announcements. Make it happen. I'm so tired. Just make it happen. We're 3 years into this thing. There are people, there are children who were conceived and are now like speaking words. There are people who have finished their college degrees. There are people who are no longer with us, who are in on this thing. Like, just let's get it going already. Zip zop. Geminius, Houston. Did you hear about the James Webb Space Telescope finding city lights on another planet? It did not find city lights on another planet. That's a TikTok bullshit video that keeps going around. What it saw was a light that is probably from an aurora on another planet, meaning magnetosphere energizing particles, just like the aurora borealis and aurora australis here on Earth. That's what they saw. They did not see city lights. They saw an aurora. Kelly Reed, 3. Kelly Reed, FDIC chief says U.S. is ready if big Wall Street bank ever fails. We are also ready if they fail. Yeah, FDIC is not ready at all. they have no money. They've spent it all. They had 3 bank failures last year, 3 big bank failures last year. They're out of cash. They're going to have Congress allocate them a whole bunch of money. And Kelly Reed, Houston, can you give us a rundown about No Labs and Lind? I mean, no. No Labs reached a funding deal with Lind, a $12 million loan basically for convertible bonds. I mean, if the stock price hits a certain level, they don't have to pay the loan back. They just get shares and that's it. It's a 2-year payback and they could pay back anytime they want. And that's all I know. I've not heard back from Ron yet. Asked him some questions about it and I've heard nothing. So I mean, I can ask him again. But that's all I know. The concern is Lind seems almost every company they lend money to gets obliterated by shorts. So, yeah, they are mostly, they seem to be mostly responsible for a whole bunch of naked shorting that happens in companies that they lend them this money, that gives them an in with a large chunk of ownership, and then they destroy the company from the inside. So that to me is the biggest concern with Lind. You don't want them taking that stock because then they do their biddings of worse prime brokers and blenders and everyone else, and they start hammering that stock down. So I have no idea what caveats or things Ron and company have to protect themselves from any nefarious acting at Lind, but I hope to hear from him eventually about it. I don't trust them, to be honest. I trust Ron, but I don't trust Lind. XXX, hello, any updates on MMTLP and MMAT? Thanks. No updates on MMTLP as far as I know. MMAT is trying to convince shareholders to allow them to dilute by 250 million shares. Shareholders have filed lots of complaints to the SEC about this because it appears after the date of record that MMAT board gave 600 something thousand C-class shares to somebody else, essentially trying to fix the vote in their favor. Now, MMAT does need cash. They need cash to do their work. But they seem to be in a doom spiral of issue shares, reverse split, issue shares, reverse split, which is like what Mullen and other companies do when they're absolutely doomed. Basically annihilating the value of any shareholders buying in at all. It's what AMC is doing. Reverse split, dilute like crazy, and then when you get too many shares out there, you reverse split again, and everyone's holdings drops by like 90% every single time you do one of those reverse splits, and it's not good. So, it sounds like they may sue the board and try to get them thrown out and have a new board appointed that works in the interest of the shareholders. But if they get their dilution through, your stock that's currently $4 will be worth nothing. It will be hammered down 25x. So that $4 stock will be worth 10 cents, somewhere around there, 20 cents. And they'll have to do another reverse split. They'll do a reverse split because they'll be threatened to get dropped from the NASDAQ, and it'll start all over again. There has to be other ways, and those other ways should probably involve selling your products or licensing them. You have a bunch of great tech and a whole bunch of companies that want to use that tech, so hire a salesman and sell something. How hard is that? Hey, you're good at sales. You know people. We got these products. Go sell. Duh! There you go. Just sell shit. That's how you should raise money, is you should get a $100 million deal for your microfilm that will go on every microwave ever built, to act as a Faraday cage. Done. Ta-da! Now you're ready to go. Koski 406. So, dude, can you talk about Doug Sifu's amended 10K due April 29th? To go to Edgar, find their 10K for February 16th. The second half of the first page is BBY. SIG is BBY greater than DK but day before Virtue could report their position. Let's go to SEC Edgar Virtue Capital. Bam. $10K. February 16th. Bam. So, second half of first page. Well, it's, if emerging growth, no. That's not what I want. That's just the, all right, part one, second half, first page. Failure to protect or enforce intellectual property rights or proprietary technology. Fail to protect confidential proprietary information. Item one, business overview. We are leading financial leverage, cutting edge technology, deliver liquidity, global markets, innovative, transparent trading solutions. What am I looking for? Second half of first page. Which one's is this? That's page 2. Page 1 is this, which is the directors. You mean page 2? Page 3? Context, part 1, second half. So, annual report 10K, forward-looking statements, obligation to comply with applicable regulatory capital requirements, litigation, other legal, regulatory-based liabilities. I know that when they filed, they basically are like $2.5 billion in debt right now. They're not making money. They're losing money. So they're losing more money than GameStop has on hand, and they want to make fun of GameStop and everyone else. So what am I looking for in here? 100 brokers, market making side, blah, 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 clients and products. Page 1, small text. So this thing? Unless the context otherwise requires the term we, us, Virtue Company refers to Virtue Financial Incorporated, Delaware Corporation, consolidated subsidiaries, and the term Virtue Financial subsidiary of ours. So that what I'm looking at? And it's all small text, it's all freaking tiny. I cannot. What does this say? Well, I'll try to read that all later. But yeah, so they've got another one. They'll come out probably correcting all the giant errors they made in this one. XXX, how soon can we get a resolution from MMTLP and what scenarios might be? Thanks. I have no idea how soon. Possible solutions. They finally get the SEC, FINRA together in a room. They talk to them like, hey, man, we're going to fuck your shit up if you don't fix this, right? And FINRA and SEC go, fine, we'll do something. And they agree to a settlement, or they agree to 2 more days of trading with forced closing of positions and just let the market do its thing. Those are possibilities. Now, there could be another solution, which is someone comes in and wants to buy their oil fields from them, probably at a price somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 a share, $250 to $500 a share. That's about what the market rate is for that much oil that they have. Then that becomes a cash payout. Shorts are screwed anyways because they're paying huge PILs, etc. Next possible solution is Congress steps in and does a full investigation and says, a whole bunch of crimes have been committed. We're going to clamp down and we want the FBI to charge these assholes, etc. That's in the realm of possibility, although a little difficult with McHenry being in charge of everything. He seems to want to sweep everything under the rug. Another possibility is probably the threat that the company would hang over the SEC and FINRA is, hey, we're going to spin off a subsidiary and we're going to T0 with it. And we're only going to provide enough blockchain shares for the people who are in AST, and that's it. Anyone whose shares are outside of AST that are in, Fidelity, Webull, etc., they will not be getting those T0 blockchain shares in our subsidiary. And that means anyone who's short on those must go to T0 and buy those shares to deposit into the accounts of those individuals. And that is going to cost you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a share, and it's going to blow the whole system up anyway. So do you want to fix this thing the right way, or do you want to fix this thing the way we're going to fix it without your help? And that's probably a very likely solution. Now, the SEC has sort of stalled that by saying they need to submit financials for their potential subsidiary. And my guess is they got lawyers at NextBridge working on that right now before they file an S1 again to do just that. But if they get the technicalities through there's nothing the SEC can do to stop them from doing it, and it will blow up the system anyway. So I think those are the likely scenarios. One way or the other, someone's going to want that oil. The oil's going to get produced, and the short's going to owe a pile of cash. Or Congress or the SEC or FINRA finally get their shit together and allow them their 2 days of trading to close out short positions. So one way or the other, it's happening. I just don't know the exact time scale. Sorry. SIG is by BY greater than DK, but day before Virtue could report their position internally. I didn't, that's what you're trying to say. Position internally. I don't see that on here. Volatility, overall trading. See recent depends resources, litigation, legal, regulatory-based liability, changes in law regulations, including legislation, need to maintain, continue developing proprietary technologies, use of open source software, access, risks associated with emerging asset classes, ecosystems, participate, including digital assets, including risk related to volatility, underlying assets, regulatory uncertainty, evolving industry practices, standards, custody, clearing, settlement, and other risks inherent in a new evolving asset class, loss of key executives, risk associated with losing access to significant change. Indicate by checkmark whether the registrant has filed report. All the way up there. Registered public accounting firm. Okay. Indicate checkmark. Registrant is required to file reports pursuant to Section 1315D Exchange Act. Yes or no? No. Well known as second seasoned issuer. Defined Rule 405. Short period registrant. Yes. Issued its audit report. Sorry, it's so tiny. I can't read it. Take letters and exchange statements, Exchange Act, audit report. Okay. So indicate checkmark whether the registrant has filed a report on attestation to its management assessment of the effectiveness of its internal control over financial reporting under Section 404B of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, 15 U.S.C. 7262, by the registered public accounting firm that prepared its audit report. Check. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna read into this more. I gotta read all 950 pages of this crap. I'll get there. It's hard for me. I need to put it get into a format where I can read it because it's just right now. It's fucking tiny. J-Dog, don't worry. They will get hit with a 0.0001% fine. Go Mariners. 5 runs in 10th today. Yeah, the Mariners pulled one out. Hey, they're still in the basement in the West below the Athletics, who have no budget whatsoever. Mariners pitching should be the most rock-solid starting rotation in baseball, and our number 1 2 starters are so terrible. Oh my God. George Kirby and Luis Castillo are just dog shit right now, and I don't know what's wrong with them. Kirby seems to not be able to throw inside. He's not walking anybody, but he's giving up lots of hits, and they're all right down the pipe. So he needs to brush people off the plate with something hard and heavy, and then go outside with the breaking pitch, and that's what he needs to do. Just start playing the plate more. Luis Castillo, I have no idea what's going on with him. He might be having the problem that Felix Hernandez had. Felix Hernandez, baby fat big boy, threw 98 miles an hour. Then every spring he would get incredible shape, lose all this fat, and then throw 10 miles an hour slower. Constantly. And maybe Castillo showed up in too good a shape this year. He needs to be a nice fat boy. He needs to have that belly flinging the ball for him. Like, don't get in shape if what you do works. This is my opinion for pitchers. I mean, look at Bartolo Colon. The man is a beach ball, and he still got it in his 50s. So, Koski, making Virtue have to use an outside auditor. So on 429, Virtue has to show the superior short position, a super short position on BBY to outside auditor. That's what we're looking for. Okay. All right. All class 6 wrapping up. When Sifu shows a short, they can tack that on to our class 9, more than 100% waterfall. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I don't care about waterfall, but interesting. It's a factory. Maybe I'm just slow to understand the newfangled digital money, but how can crypto ETF give a dividend, etc.? Vito, what is special sauce here? They can't, because there's no dividend. What they might be doing is taking all those and then putting them into market accounts. Like you can stake it and like earn money. They might be doing that. But that's the stuff that's been getting all these exchanges in trouble, is that they're like, hey, stake it here, blonk, and then you can make 10-20% off of that. But what happens is in reality, they're stealing all of your crypto coins and making terrible investments with it, and then using new investors to pay off the gains you're supposed to be having. And that's where FTX and Binance and everyone else has gotten into trouble. I don't understand how an ETF even works on a single asset. Like, if you have an ETF that is, hey, this ETF is all about natural gas stocks, then you're investing in natural gas stocks. They make profits. They sell things. You got multiple companies in there, and you got a pretty large swath industry. If you just have one thing, which is just Bitcoin, then why don't you just go buy Bitcoin yourself? Why the ETF? Why do you even need an ETF? The ETF exists, I think, so that the banks can now centrally control this decentralized currency, and then bink, bink, that's it. Yeah. Scott Lumley, Houston. Do you think an NFL team could literally stack their defense and literally not field an offense and grind out wins with safeties, interceptions, and field goals? I mean, theoretically, yes. Operationally, no. Because no matter how powerful a defense is, people will find ways to exploit it, right? So you can have like the greatest people ever in NFL at every position on the defense, and there's still weaknesses there. There's still things that are going to break through, and they'll find that weakness eventually. So theoretically, yes. Practically, probably not. But defense does win Super Bowls, though. You got to stop the other guys from doing their thing. That's a good question. I think about that high school team in Iowa. I saw this like 30 for 30 on them years ago, and they always go for 2 and always kick onside. That's it. Because the coach was like, look, a high school punter can only kick a ball, so far. Kicker can only kick a ball like 45 yards. An onside kick, you end up on the 35 or 40 yard line anyway. So you may as well try for it, because the run back of a returner in high school will get the ball to that point anyway. So he's like, hey, so we're only going to go for 2, and we're never going to kick a field goal, and we're always going to or kick an extra point, and we're always going to do an onside kick. And they've just practiced nothing but 2-point conversions and onside kicks. And the other team oftentimes never gets the ball, ever. Like, one of the games they went to in the documentary, It was like the middle of the second quarter, and the Iowa team was up 80-0. They got the kickoff. The other team never got the ball the entire first half. They didn't get the ball until there was a kickoff in the second half, which was an onside kick anyway, and they just flubbed it. So, like, you don't win all the onside kicks, but if you do nothing but practice for onside kicks, you're gonna get it. So, I think that was a pretty hilarious, troll-worthy way of constantly getting Iowa championships. But that's not different from your plan there. Anyway, moving on. Whisker Biscuit, what's going on with Japanese yen? Elaborate like I'm 5. Japanese yen was being artificially supported by negative interest rates in Japanese bonds. Basically, the Federal Reserve or the Japanese Central Bank pays you to borrow money. So, yeah, I need some money. And you're going to give me money on top of that to borrow money. They're doing this as a way to, like, keep the economy stable, but was causing stagflation, meaning everything just kind of stagnated and prices were going up, but everything else was stagnating as a result. And now they're realizing that with global inflation, they need to tighten. They need to raise interest rates. They need to hurt the money supply, but they've been flooding the country with money for too long. And now they got to pull back. And now that they're pulling back, they're seeing their currency devalue. And that's kind of where they are right now. The yen is hurting and not doing very well because they kept all their interest rates artificially low for too long. And now they're paying the price for it. Yeah, is that the best way to describe it? That's the easiest way I can describe it, I guess. Koski 406, September 20th, DK went buttfuck, and Virtue's 10K was due the 30th. BBY ceased to exist and didn't give Virtue a chance to do something with their short position, further causing need for outside audit. Okay, so that's what we should be seeing Virtue on the 26th when they reveal their amended 10K. Yes. Ludicrous Speed, heard anything from Rosa? Oh, I need to message Rosa. It is really late over there. I'll message her tomorrow because Ramadan's over. We'll see if we can get her on. Alex Bishop's here. Avocados. Damn, Houston. You've got a lot of good questions already, so we'll just say hi to your chat. Hi, y'all. Still in post-eclipse territory with a bum knee. Looking forward to that 12-hour ride home tomorrow. I hope you guys all enjoyed the eclipse. I got some people sent me some great pictures from viewing the eclipse. Looked like the best place to do it was actually like Indiana, Ohio. They had the best weather out of everyone. So, man, I'm jealous. First Day Productions, I think the BBY lawyers already have that short position info. Bears, shills, and shorts are in shambles. They're not going to do well. It does seem like there's two plans. There's the liquidation plan for the liquidating trust, which is Goldberg and all those guys. And then there's the reorganization plan. And the reorganization plan has not been revealed. It's very obvious the Knowles are worth a lot of money, that there appears to be a stalking horse / credit bid for the shell company, and that there's a lot of properties that the company is refusing to sell off and maintaining, especially in California and Texas. So if the shell company is going to be in Texas, which is where GameStop is based, and things should get interesting. That's all I care. Credit bid / Knowles / reissuance of equity means the shorts are screwed. And particularly, it sounds like Virtue is screwed. Red Lightsaber. I'm disappointed, but not terribly surprised Ryan Cohen's choice of company. Yeah, Javier Milei is gross. He's a gross dude. What's interesting is my subreddit, like, there's 2,000 of you in there. You guys show up and chit chat every once in a while and see things. But engagement goes through the roof when one of three things happen. A post about Javier Milei, thousands of people show up. First half, 1,000 people show up and be like, yeah, that guy's a dumbass. And then suddenly, after the the post gets more popular about 6 to 12 hours later, then a whole bunch of pro Javier Milei people come in and like, fuck you, Javier Milei is the greatest thing in the entire world. And those guys are usually the dumbest people you'll meet on the internet. The other engagement things are if I talk about Elon Musk. So I posted the Elon Musk transcript from that court case with Ben Brody, where he basically sicked all these Nazis on this poor Jewish kid and is now getting sued for defamation. That engagement has gone through the roof. And the other thing that causes a whole bunch of engagement is if you mention the word Nazis. It's like, hey, these Nazis guys suck. All of a sudden, 10,000 people show up and be like, Nazis are awesome. And I have to block so many people. Anytime the word Nazi is mentioned in a post, 3,000 of them show up and I got to block 3,000 fucking Nazi accounts. And then they get all pissy. And because the worst thing about Reddit is when you ban someone or ban their comment, it sends them a message like, hey man, the mods banned you for this. And I'm the mod, right? So I'm the only mod there. And so basically it's me messaging this person like, hey, you fucking suck. You're a terrible human being. You've been banned from my subreddit. And then allows them to reply back to me ad infinitum. Even if I blocked them, they still can respond to the mod account for a year, 10 years, 1,000 years. And then we'll respond again and again and again and again. Like, it just never ends. And I wish Reddit would allow the mod account to block. Like, I don't want to talk to this person. I banned them from my subreddit. They can go away and I never want to talk to them again. But no. They can message you, be like, fuck you, Jew, and say stuff like that to me over and over again. It's very annoying, and Reddit needs to fix that. Oh. Dang it. That's the reset of the chat. I gotta go back up again. Frozen State Productions. Sifu recently stopped talking to me on X because I constantly ask about securities sold, not yet purchased. His little butt toy won't answer that either way when I tell when I tell to write a real story. Yeah, Virtue doesn't have. Virtue is different than Citadel. Citadel has $67 billion in assets and $66 billion in securities sold not to purchase. They got $1 billion more than what their liabilities currently are. Now, if they go out and try to buy those $66 billion in assets, it's going to cost them trillions and it's gone. What appears Virtue's problem is that I can't remember their total numbers of assets sold not yet purchased and what their assets are. But there's a disparity of about $2.5 billion, meaning they owe $2.5 billion more in securities than what they currently have in assets. So they're underwater immediately. Yeah. So Koski securities sold under agreements to purchase $1.795 billion. Page 80, Seafood 10K from February. That column is in thousands. I added zeros here. A lot. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. If you owe billions of dollars because you've never delivered the things you sold, that needs to be an alarm that goes off at the SEC and the FBI and FINRA and everyone else. Like, how can you have that many assets you've sold and never bothered to actually deliver on? That's a crime. Like if I had a car dealership and I sold a car to someone and they take the car, right? They take it home. And then I advertise again, I'm selling that car, and I sell it to somebody else, and then point the regulators to the car in that guy's driveway over there. Well, he's got the car in his driveway, so I'm good for it. No, that doesn't work. I can't have, 50 million cars sold, not yet delivered. That's not how this works. The person needs the car. That's what they paid for. I'm supposed to provide them a car, right? It's asinine. Frozen State Productions, it can't be gifted membership because it seems I'm a brand according to YouTube. I just have to lurk when I'm not talking. Well, that happens. Corporate Walnut, what's the deal with Gunong Padong? Gunong Padong. Gunong Padong. Whoops. It's an archaeological site located in West Java, Indonesia. Okay, so It's an archaeological site located in Mukti, Kampaka, West Java, Indonesia, 30 kilometers southwest of the Regency seat, or 8 kilometers from Lapengang Station. Located 885 meters above sea level, the site covers a hill of an extinct volcano, a series of 5 terraces bordered by retaining walls of stone that access by 370 consecutive andesite steps, rising about 95 meters. It's covered with massive hexagonal stone columns of volcanic origin. The Sudanese people, not Sudanese like from Sudan, consider the site sacred and believe it to be the result of King Silawang's attempt to build a palace in one night. Consists of a series of 5 terraces. I've never heard of this place. So where are we? So we are West Java. Okay. View of the ruins. All right. So those are very ruinous ruins. Those look like some columnar basalts that have been stacked there. Here's some more. Look at those guys. All right. And then Dutch historian Roger Vierbeek mentioned the existence of the Gunung Padang site in his book Oehuden van Java. Eerst der vermeeste overblijfselen uit den hindernissen op Java. Based on a visit and report by de Korte. The Dutch watching this are like, wow, he nailed that. On the mountain top, Gunung Padang near Gunung Melati is a succession of 4 terraces connected by steps of rough stone paved with rough flat stones decorated with numerous sharp and columnar upright andesite stones. On each terrace, a small mound, probably a grave, surrounded covered with stones topped with 2 pointed stones. In 1890, visited by Mr. de Korte. Okay, so the age estimates are thought to be 2 to 5th century CE, so about 1,500 years ago. Possible later date, fringe date hypothesis. So some say it's 9 to 20,000 years old. Well, there you go. Now you know as much as I do, which is one Wikipedia article with some poorly read Dutch. So it looks like a site that looks like walls they're trying to build a columnar basalt. Doesn't look like the best construction methods, personally. I think there's probably better ways to build things than making walls out of columnar basalt that are just going to tip over. But, you know, you live and learn. So there you go. Ta-da! Frozen State Productions. Roman engineers and their families had to stand under the bridges they built in order to ensure quality. What a great concept. Yeah. They should do that with Boeing executives. Right? Like, hey, there's a bunch of reports this plane's electrical wiring is all shorting out because of a whole bunch of titanium shavings got shaved on top of all the wiring. You and your family have to fly on this thing for the first flight ever. That should be over and over. Scott Paul in Houston, do you have any friends in Italy that want to meet me at the Milan GameStop in May? I have one friend who works for a fashion designer there. I can ask if she and her husband want to meet up. Who else is in northern Italy? My friend's now ex-wife, her family's there, but I don't think they're on speaking terms, which means they're probably not speaking terms with me. That's about it. I have friends who are in Milan right now visiting, but they won't be there in May. They're coming back like in a couple of days. So, yeah. Milan, the Detroit of Italy. Fashion warehouses and factories. My brother had to go to Milan a whole bunch when he was working for Oakley when Luxottica bought him. And he was like, that city, kind of gross. But there's a couple of nice spots. It's like a nice market, a couple of nice churches. The wall around the city apparently is really cool. But a lot of factories. Kelly Reed was going to buy some UVXY today at close after the inflation news, but they're unavailable right now. They're doing a 1-for-5 consolidation tomorrow. Oh, they're consolidating, huh? Interesting. What a perfect time to do that, huh? Frozen State Productions, for the Roman Bridges thing, I forgot to add, they had to stand there when they removed the scaffolding used during construction. To make sure the keystones didn't drop everyone. I like that. Corporate Walnut, RC and Malay, literally what is happening? I don't know. My guess is Malay is in Florida for some reason to meet with a bunch of libertarians, and that's probably what's happening. Frozen State Productions, should GME BBY kick off MOAS? How many new poor will there be? Thousands? Millions? Meh. I mean, you'll have the folks that weren't smart enough to offshore all their money illegally. Those guys, like, they might lose their hedge funds and their brokerages and stuff, but they'll have a bunch of cash offshore and they'll be fine. They'll start all over again. You got the guys who aren't smart enough to do that, and they're going to blink out of existence, and they're going to be stuck, probably not able to get jobs in that field ever again because they'll be tainted as, hey, you just lost this firm billions of dollars. So those folks, they might not do so well. They're going to be the ones misspelling your name on Starbucks cups. But you'll have a whole bunch of folks unrelated to all of this who just have regular pensions and 401ks and stuff, and they're going to get absolutely obliterated by what happens from MOS. And those are the folks that, if they're in your families and they're in your friend network, help them out. If you get a windfall from this and they've been working 50 years and putting money into their pension and everything, and they get absolutely just annihilated by this, they're not going to have what it takes to go back into the market, in the job market, and earn a living and make up for their lost retirement. So, if you can, help your friends and family out who are on the wrong side of this thing. It doesn't help, like, being filthy rich doesn't help if you can't bring those you love along with you, I guess is my point. So help folks out. That's what we try. I mean, we help folks out every week, every month. We go to Charity Tuesday. You guys donate a bunch of money to Beto, help his broken legs out. Like, you're helpers. And I trust that you're going to help those in your life and those you love when you do well. So I'm not worried. Caught Palm bought some GME calls. First State Productions, should GME... Oh, we just did that one. Yogi 2012. I saw today there's a new whistleblower to testify against Boeing. How long do you think he lives? My guess is that they're going to have to get some protection for him this time around. Now the federal prosecutors and lawyers have learned their lesson on this one. Laza. Does Larry buying GME rule out any merger acquisition over the last few months, or could something still be revealed? Also, RC tweet. I don't think it necessarily rules it out, because Larry had done a filing like 10 months ago that he was going to buy more shares in this period of time. And I think it falls under that filing and is outside the blackout period. So I don't think it means that necessarily there hasn't been a blackout. Not Your Friend is here. Federal Reserve, not really a Fed. Sounds sus. Get rid of them. Possibly. Green Bowl, USA has become a nefarious society. Well, at least the elites have, that's for sure. Derek Coles wants bread. I got no bread for you yet. Not even really crumbs at the moment. Bill Coyne, even if they arrest someone for leaking information to BlackRock banks, the money they were paid will make it worth it. Yeah. I mean, they probably got a big chunk of change for that, and they can hire really great lawyers. And even when they get out, they're still going to have a bunch of money. Yogi, I thought World War III is already in full swing. Well, the baby steps are happening. I'm sure, you got Ukraine, Russia. You got Israel and possibly Iran. You got China and possibly Taiwan. And it'll just spill from there. So the alliances are going to be crazy. KCTB, happy birthday. Looks like the Dukes got the orange crop early, a la trading places with the CPI. Yep. You was in the tank last night. Yeah. KCDB, GME's at 1085. GME is a screaming deal right now. Barry's Bits, Houston, I hate to ask, but how did you fare on your GME puts, etc.? Overall, did you break even? No. I got screwed. They wouldn't let me buy my puts. I bought a chunk of my calls, not as many calls as I wanted. I would have lost more on that, but I was going to buy over 30 puts, and they wouldn't let me. They said my money had cleared. I had deposited money weeks ahead of time. A, I pay them for the gold membership, which allows me instant deposit up to $10,000. And C, the money had cleared. It had cleared from my account. It was showing in my brokerage account. I tried to buy, they're like, cannot. We can't let you do that on this transaction. It's like, what the fuck? So no, I missed out. I would have made, I think it was $9,600 if I had been able to buy my puts. Really pisses me off. What's the point of like having a whole hedge plan if you can't buy the things you're supposed to buy? And then what calls you do buy vaporize, so your hedge doesn't exist at all. It pisses me off. All right. Bitcoin. I own over 4,800 shares of GME and expect more price reductions below $10. I do intend to buy more. Nice. Yogi 2012 DC Richard Hoffman, not legal advice on YouTube, has filed suit against GTII. It's basically forcing them to do an acquisition. Pretty interesting. I have not seen that. What are they acquiring? So I know the crypto coupon didn't work very well. What they should have done is made a crypto coin, not a crypto coupon, or a security entirely. But yeah, I don't know what they're trying to acquire or what Hoffman is trying to get them to do. Styles, I know we are already in No Labs. What do you think about NWBO for cancer treatment? I have no idea who NWBO is. NWBO. Whoops. That did not help. NWBO. Northwest Biotherapeutics. Oh, yeah, we've seen this one every once in a while. They're dirt cheap. They're at 51 cents. What's been... they've been as high as $2 back in 2020. And again, in May 6th, 2022, they're $1.86. But they've been as low as 15 cents. And they've been as high, in 2002, they were $1,000 a share. So my guess is they've had some reverse splits or something since then. Northwest Biotherapeutics is a clinical stage biotechnology company focused on development of personalized cancer vaccines. Do you have any news on them? Let's put under news, see if anything pops up. 3 weeks ago, add another person to their board. Now it's the marketing authorization application submitted to the UK. Lots of things about adding directors and stuff. Not a lot of things about success in their work. People retiring, people being added. I mean, at this point, if you type them in and the news that comes up is only shuffling on board seats and not like applying for FDA stuff, then I don't really know what's good. DC Vax is their thing. Let's search DC Vax. DC Vax. Okay. 1 month ago, the End Brain Cancer Initiative advocates for DC Vax to gain FDA approval. So that's one news about FDA. So immunotherapy vaccines, they got GoFundMe's for there. Now it's first patient dosed in phase 1/2A clinical study. So I don't know what the results on that is. We respond to promising survival data from phase 3 trial. That's 2022. That's a year behind that other one. Marketing application has been submitted in December. So the marketing applications. Personalized immune therapy, extended survival in patients with aggressive brain cancers. Looks like they had a bunch of tests in 22 and 22 for phase 3 trials, and maybe they go back to drawing board. So it looks like they got phase 1, phase 2 again. They're doing all over again. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, if they get approval, to the moon. But until then, I'd like to see more trial results. Antonio Baez, we love you, Houston. Thank you. Sears Holding, what's the latest news about them? We basically don't need to wait until assets are sold, right? They're in the same spot as BBYQ. I'm not sure what we're waiting on Sears. They are selling real estate assets to pay off creditors, but there's more real estate assets than there are creditors. So there's a cash surplus, which means waterfall. Cool. Maybe they're waiting until there's a waterfall, so there's a cash floor for every share before Lampert announces whatever he's doing with their Sears reinsurance stuff that has like 35 billion in assets. So yeah, you come out, issue new shares to everybody along with cash. That's probably what they'll be doing. So we may have time to wait. I have no idea what Eddie Lampert's waiting for. These long plays, like I'm too impatient for the long plays. I am like, I'm going to do this thing. And then 10 years later, cajillions. Like I'm too impatient for that. I am. I tried to center my chi and twiddle my thumbs. And right now, my personal portfolio is full of a whole bunch of twiddle my thumbs and weights. And I just need one of them. Just one of them to take off, and I'm golden. Exactly, monkey. Just a big, giant, groaning sigh. That's what we got going on. Right, buddy? Right. Oh, you scratchy little dude. She had a great day today. Went on a walk. We went to the elementary school where I throw the baseball against the wall. A bunch of kids playing. She went and played with a whole bunch of kids for like an hour while I threw a baseball. And happy dog. And then she got to eat chicken. She got to eat blueberry apple pie. And she got to eat a mandarin. Like the two, their favorite things in the entire world. So good day to be a dog. Tia Futavong. I think NWBO will win a lawsuit against them. They've got a lawsuit. NWBO lawsuit. Spoofing case might draw certain on high-speed trading firms. Beta company. Oh, is NWBO the ones that had the bankruptcy court forced the closure of shares? Is that the one? Biotech company says Citadel Securities, other big traders manipulated stock. NWO is suing Citadel. Oh, they're suing Citadel. Okay, so maybe they'll rock and roll. Okay, the lawsuit ones. That's where I knew their name from. Okay. So they're suing Citadel, Instinet, Virtue, and Concord are accused of deliberately engaging in repeated spoofing that drove NWO's share price downward. Yeah, sue the shit out of them. Sue the shit out of every single one of them. Every company should just sue the crap out of these guys and make it so that they have to settle for more than they ever get out of doing the spoofing and naked short selling and everything else. So yeah. Keegan Murphy, happy birthday. Well, thank you. Alan Komatsky, did you see what Finger did? Finger do something and I missed it? They went from 320 up to 380 and then back below 315 before close. So what did they do? Any news? Finger motion. 2 days ago, major communications services gainers. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't see anything in the news telling me what they're doing. So no, I did not see what Finger did. So Koski's talking about Virtue's 10K, says it's due after 120 days, and that day is April 29th. We'll show how short Virtue is with BBBY to an outside audit. Fiscal year starts 12/31/23. I think it's relevant because that's another reason to delay as long as possible, as they have to expose the fraud, because it will only be done by an outside auditor before they just cook the books. Interesting. Okay. KCDB, Houston, you can't sell MMTLP on AST, so if trading happens, how can those registered sell? The brokerage has already said that if it becomes tradable again, you can transfer out of AST back to the brokerages. So if they announce that there's going to be 2 more days of trading, they're probably going to be like, well, there's going to be 2 more days of trading starting tomorrow. No, it'll probably be like, we're going to have 2 days of trading on this security to close out all short positions, and that will begin, 5 weeks from now on this date. So it'll give you time to transfer back to your brokerage so you can do those 2 days of trading, because trying to sell stuff in AST is dog shit. They have a terrible system. Basically bundle all the trades and they sell at market once a week, and that's it. And you can't name your price. You're stuck with whatever they happen to sell it for. So I would definitely transfer back to a brokerage. KLDJ, it's funny you said people who had babies that are speaking and people who finished their college degrees since that play started. I'm in both camps. Luckily, I'm still here, though. See? Time. KCDB, CPI did not meet expectations, but usually markets adjust quickly. Closed estimates. Why would Fed tip banks off? Because the banks are their buddies. That's why. That's why they tip them off. Because you can be like, I'm going to short sell all this crap now, and then in a day, when it all drops, I can go back in and buy it all back up again. Citizen 54, Houston, you say MOAS can be paid by DTCC computers, just auto-buying once things collapse. What keeps the DTCC from simply turning them off or changing the system to not cover? I'm sure they could. The problem is that the prime brokers need this stuff cleared up. So they're the ones who control the DTCC or their members, right? And if they need to clear this, get this stuff cleared and done, you don't want to let this stuff go on and on and on and on and on because it becomes this nightmare. So you want to rip that Band-Aid as fast as you possibly can, get it over with, and then move on. And if you prolong this, the pain prolongs, not just for the prime brokers and the hedge funds and the investors. It becomes this like sticky wad of snot everyone's stuck in. So you want, when the shit hits the fan, you want to get this over with as fast as possible. You want the Treasury printing money, you want the Fed printing money, you want all the bailouts to happen all at once, because if you let it linger, banks will start collapsing with no way to do anything about it. Hedge funds will disappear anyway, with no recouping for prime brokers. So the DTCC, their computers are going to have to go, and they have to, when they start liquidating those who failed margin, they're going to have to make it as quick as possible. You don't want to drag it out because it just causes more problems. Just look at MMTLP. Do you think the people at FINRA are happy with their decision to do the U3 halt? They sound fucking miserable. If you ask somebody at FINRA if they had a time machine, what they would use it for, I guarantee 9 out of 10 of them would say, I would go back to December 8th, 2022 and slap the guy before he hits the U3 halt button on the computer. Their lives would be so much happier right now if they never had to deal with us ever. And they would think they would gladly reverse time. So drawing it out does not help. You're stuck being a miserable, stressed out basket case because you got 65,000 people ruining your life. Now imagine the DTCC halts MOAS. They don't let this happen. Now you're dealing with tens of millions of people who are angry. A lot of them are kooky, violent, supremacist, militia weirdos, and now your safety's at stake, right? If they were to halt MOAS, where they're going to owe us a fortune and maybe bankrupt some like Cheddingtons III's, cool, okay. But if they halt that and they keep those folks from being cajillionaires, those folks are going to kill you. They are. That's just what's going to happen. You just took millions of dollars of potential out of this person's hands, and they don't have anything to live for. The revolution has begun, and you're not going to survive that no matter how many Blackwater, mercenaries you have. They're going to be coming for you, and they're not going to stop. So I don't think you can guarantee any of those financial dudes safety if they do that. It's like a last straw type thing. There's enough kooky weirdos. You guys have been on these message boards. You've been on Reddit. You've been on Twitter. A lot of these people are fucked in the head. You can't reason with them. And you push them one step too far and they're gone. They will do crazy kooky stuff. And I don't think anyone can stop them from doing it at this point. So I don't think it's anyone's best interest to not follow through on the protocols that are in place when people get margin called. Like, you margin call. If they can't meet that margin, you liquidate. If you don't do the liquidations, well, then what's the point of the entire system, right? You can make as much funny money as you want, and everyone's going to look the other way, and everyone's going to lose their money. But hey, Dingus over here at this hedge fund who made a terrible bet, he's the one who wins. That's not going to work for anyone. I think there's enough weirdos in this movement that are definite safety risk if things go sideways because of shenanigans. Koski 406 plus with the audit, they have to show what the 1.7 billion not yet purchased is to, I believe, instead of just a total. I'd be interested to see if they have to put like how many of what do they owe in each one of these things. 110 Mahir, any thoughts on ticket CGRA? None. I've never heard of them. CGRA. C Growth Capital. It's 0.4 of a penny. Seems pretty seller boxed. It's on the OTC. It's a public holding company for alternative undervalued assets. What's their... At one time, they were worth $200 a share. That's interesting. We're close to it. They must have done, that was 1999, 2000. They were worth a bunch of money. Dropped to a few dollars a share, had a spike in 2008, 2007, $30 a share, and has basically been seller boxed ever since at fractions of a penny. So I know nothing about what they do, who they are. Never heard of them. OTC stock of some kind. Investing in high potential companies, and their stock is absolutely worthless. Nope, I know nothing about them. Nothing whatsoever. 6 months, their stock price has been as high as a penny, and it drops down to fractions of a penny, goes as high as a penny. Looks like something you could probably day trade pretty well. Seems that quite regularly they go to nothing, up to a penny, to nothing, up to a penny, up to nothing, up to a penny. So if you want to day trade this guy, that does lots of barcoding. The last year, they've been as high as 3 cents. Dang. So you could 10x your money if they go back up to that again. Back in May of last year, 2 cents, 1 cent, nothing, 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 1 cent, nothing, and it's back up to 4 cents. So it's already up a little bit from where it was just a few days ago. A lot of volatility in those penny stocks if you want to deal with them. Dang it, this thing always reset. It drives me up the wall when I just scroll and it just immediately goes through like 55 comments right to the bottom. Okay. Where were we? TCC Computer. That's Mahir's question. Hot Pocket Rebel. At what point do you think RC is stringing us along? It's been 3 years. We're all holding the bag and RC is still silent. He loaded and will just be fine without the Trust the Apes. I think Ryan Cohen he does want like a Berkshire Hathaway, Icahn Enterprises type holdings company. And the only way you build a holdings company like that is if you reward your loyal shareholders. So at some point, he's going to have to reward us. If he doesn't, then his entire point of creating a giant holdings company with like a fervent, rabid base of investors is out the window. And you can't bounce back from that. That's thermocline of trust territory. You violate the thermocline of trust, then people will never trust you again. Just imagine, like, I bet some of you have had a restaurant that you went to a whole bunch of times. You went there regularly, and you had one really, really, really terrible experience, and then refused to ever go back. They violated your thermocline of trust. There's nothing they can do to ever get you back as a customer, short of a new owner owning the restaurant, changing the name or whatever. It happens. And in this case, we're dealing with people's life savings. And if you violate the thermal clan of trust with their life savings, they won't come back. So you've lost the investment pool you needed that made GameStop the successful company, that made that plan of yours work. Because you had those rabid followers willing to pay hundreds of dollars a share back when is the only reason you have $1 billion today and no debt, is those people. So if you fuck those people over, you can never make that play again. You are now a pariah. So he's going to have to jump in there with something at some point that's meat for us to bite into. We need that bread for Derek Holhorse. No more crumbs. So, yeah, I do feel like it's taking longer than it should, but there needs to be a payoff at some point. Because if there's no payoff in a relatively short period of time from now, then people are out. They're done. KCTB, is Citadel $66 billion owed like what FTX did? But why did they get caught and Citadel not? Do they cap their users from withdrawals to prevent Preventative versus FTX? Was average Joes who wanted out quick, dumb money, smarter? Well, first off, what FTX did was people staked their crypto with FTX, thinking, oh, I'll make 30% on this, right? And FTX stole that crypto and invested into other things. And what they did is they took new investors' crypto, and then they gave that out to the existing ones like a Ponzi scheme. And that's how they kept up, like, hey, you're making 30%. Just don't withdraw your money now, please, 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 please. And the problem is that everyone started withdrawing all their money, and it showed the Ponzi. And that was it. They're over. Citadel, on the other hand, does cap how much you can withdraw. It's at 2.5% per quarter. So basically, in your lifetime, there's no way you can withdraw all of your money from Citadel. So, joke's on you, members of Citadel. At least on paper, you have a whole bunch of cash in there, and you can borrow against it. And you can use that 2.5% withdrawal to pay off your loans, interest on your loans. Yeah, but KCTB, Houston reading Dutch. I legit thought he had a stroke. Like this video, eat more sausages. Turkish, goddamn Houston. I'm really behind now. Where's, you know what it is. Where's the cash, Lebowski? KCB, is Boeing legit put a hit on an employee? What's happening? How does this stuff pass? It seems a lot of investigations are just waiting for bribe checks in the Caymans to clear without much arrests. Yeah, that is how a collapsing society seems to work. Is you get more and more corruption as you get more and more consolidation, and no one can be a bad guy anymore. But Boeing, I think, has met the limits of what they can get away with at this point, and now like media and independent media is so focused on Boeing and any little mishap they have that they will not be able to get rid of this taint for a long time. They broke the thermal clan of trust that we talked about just a few minutes ago. People don't want to fly in their planes. Companies don't want to buy them. Their products gonna have to sell for a lot cheaper and become a lot better in order to entice buyers back. So Boeing's got a lot of groveling and making up to do, and they got to start with several things. One, fire the board, put engineers back in charge. Simple enough. Two, move the headquarters back to Seattle where the planes are made and people know how to make the planes. So that those engineers who are in charge of the company can be hands-on with the product that they're making. The McDonnell Douglas people wanted to move Boeing as far away as possible. First, they moved them to Chicago. And then they're like, Chicago sucks. And they moved them to Virginia. And now they're as far away from anyone who knows how to make planes as possible. And that way it's a big deal if they actually show up to the factory. The CEO is coming to visit. The CEO used to walk through the factory every single day back when they were based in Seattle because it was on the same property as one of the largest manufacturing plants. So there's a couple of things they need to do. They also need to build back up their quality assurance program. I mean, they used to have thousands of quality assurance engineers whose entire job it was to walk through these planes, and if something was wrong, they would halt production, kind of Toyota method style. And the McDonnell Douglas guys hated production being stopped and like, stop production for nothing. Just send the planes out, no matter how shitty they are. And that produced terrible products. And that's what GM was doing back in the 80s when they're getting their ass kicked by Toyota. And the Toyota method was you find one problem, you halt the assembly line until that problem's fixed, and then you move on. Then you open it back up again. And that way you put out good products that don't have problems and don't besmirch your name. And the Boeing guys obviously never read the Toyota way, because Toyota is an incredibly successful company, and they have as a whole, they have to pay out warranties a lot less than other shitty companies that don't follow those methods. And it ends up costing you more in the long run. You get more repeat business if you make a good quality product. You pay out less in warranties and liabilities if you have a good quality product. And you don't ruin thermocline trust. So people who are new customers are willing to take you on and give you a try. If you make shitty products, treat people like garbage, and just generally make it so people hate you in the media, well, you've kind of ruined your business there. Citizen 54, shouldn't you treat a windfall from this as winning the lottery? Seems like it could attract the wrong kind of attention or dependency. Would love a chunk of change, but still dislike attention. Yeah. I mean, best thing you could do if you get a lot of money and you live in a place where people don't have a lot of money is disappear. Be like, I'm out for a while, and just disappear for years, months, go somewhere else. Don't be like those lotto winners. Who was that one lotto guy in, I think it was in Pennsylvania. He won a decent amount. It was like $14 million or something. And within 6 months, almost every member of his family was dead or kidnapped, because he never left his shitty little coal town. And all these meth heads were like, I know where there's money. And they just kept killing and kidnapping members of his family. Like, if you live in a shitty little town and you will instantly have more money than 99% of the people in that town, get the fuck out of there. Leave. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere where they don't know who you are. Go somewhere where rich people, or other people richer than you, so you don't stand out. Like, just get out and leave. Take the ones you love with you, and everyone else, meh. Like, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Citizen 54. KCTB, I can legit say the rich are no smarter than any of us. They just had more opportunities and usually generational wealth. Generational wealth is a huge thing. You look at the richest people alive today, their dads were their angel investors. Bill Gates' dad owned the largest law firm in the world. His mom sat on the board of United Way with the CEO of IBM. Bill Gates took $50,000 of his dad's money, bought DOS, and turned it into MS-DOS, and then sold that to IBM via his mom's connections. That's the entire reason Microsoft is as big as it is today. Jeff Bezos, smart guy, a quant, worked at Wall Street. His dad was the $300,000 angel investor into Amazon. He took his dad's money, built Amazon with it. Mark Zuckerberg's dad put $125,000 into Facebook. He was the angel investor in Facebook. Elon Musk's dad was the angel investor in Zip2. Like, these guys have family money that can, Mitt Romney got a small $1 million loan from his father to start a hedge fund. Like, you and I don't have these opportunities. Our parents, they love us. They provide a roof over our head. They fed us, if we're lucky, right? But we're stuck with student loans. They're stuck with student loans. They got their mortgages. They got they don't have, $300,000 sitting around to invest into a startup you want to make. They just don't have that kind of money. And so we didn't get to do those startups the way others whose parents had that money did. You take someone like Elon Musk and you make his parents not a supermodel or a dad who owned the largest engineering firm in Africa, and Elon grew up in the largest house in Pretoria. You make him middle class or poor, you would have never heard his name. He would be working IT somewhere, bald with a big neck beard. And that's who Elon Musk would be. He is not a brainiac. He's a rich kid whose dad is able to invest in his companies, and he failed upwards from there. X.com was a shit company, and they got bought out by Conformity to form PayPal. And like, okay, we bought X.com because they're competing in this marketplace, and we made PayPal. We'll make this guy CEO and see how it goes. And Elon ruined PayPal. He tried to turn it back into X.com. He's like, we'll call it X. And they're like, don't call it X. Just call it PayPal. People are already using PayPal as a verb. They're going to PayPal you that money. That's as much as you want in this sphere. No. We're going to take it off Unix. We're going to reprogram everything, put it on Windows, and we're going to call it X.com. And then compounding problems. People's money wasn't coming through. Bank transfers weren't happening. The website was breaking down. And the board was like, get the fuck out of here. And they fired him for compounding problems with the website and having no business plan. And they gave him a $100 million golden parachute because he gets to be a founder since they acquired his company. And he took that money and smartly, he invested in Tesla. What he did at Tesla was he ended up buying so much of Tesla that he fired the founders, took their business plan, and that's been going great for him ever since. Gets to call himself the founder of Tesla, even though he bought in. But now he's straying from the business plan. The business plan for Tesla was, hey, we make this really expensive, high-quality roadster, and we get some rich people to buy it because it's going to perform really well. It's going to be awesome. And them buying this roadster will generate capital for us so that we can actually make an everyman car like the Volkswagen Beetle or the Toyota Corolla or whatever. And then we'll get electrical car adoption across the board because we'll have a car that will compete with those low cost everyman vehicles. And then Elon has abandoned that entirely, gone for the luxury market, and then pissed off the luxury people by being a racist piece of crap. So now Tesla is hurting. They are hurting. They made 450,000 cars last quarter and only able to sell like 360,000 of them. So they have a glut of vehicles right now. Sales are going down. They're dropping the price, which is, you do not want to drop prices on luxury vehicles. So if you try and take the luxury market and you drop prices on that, rich people don't like getting deals. They like being like, I paid $200,000 for this. Isn't it awesome? It's a status symbol. Not, I got a screaming deal in this $100,000 car I got for $40,000. Aren't I cool? That's how poor people think. And rich people don't play that way. And the hippie greeners don't like them anymore. And yeah. So and he just blew $38 billion on Twitter, trying to turn it back into X.com, which failed with PayPal. Anyway, your mistake was you didn't have a rich vagina to slither out of when you were born. Should have chosen better. Sorry. It's your fault. Okay. Clint Eastwood, happy birthday, Houston. Should parents be punished for their children committing crimes? Depends on the crime. The kid, was it Rockford, Illinois? Was it, or Aurora, Illinois? One of those places there was a shooting in a 4th of July parade. And the shooter, I think it was that one. The shooter was underage. He had been drawing guns in school. And the teachers were like, hey, let's call the parents in here. This is disturbing. Because he was drawing very specific guns. The parents were like, oh yeah, we bought him that gun. It's no big deal. And like, yeah, but he's like fantasizing, killing a bunch of people with that gun. And the parents were like, that's fine. We bought it for him. He's fine. And then he kills a bunch of people with that gun. In that case, yeah, the parents have some liability there. Shooter's underage. They shouldn't have bought him the gun in the first place. When they were warned about his behavior, they did nothing about it and had denial. And then when the bad stuff happens, yeah, you're gonna face some liability. The Uvalde shooter, there's probably some liability there for who lent him the money to buy the guns. But I don't think it was a parent in that case. I think it was just a lending agency. Well, yeah, there's some things like, if you enable the child to commit their crime, like you've been warned repeatedly that they're doing something bad, it's going to escalate and get worse, you don't do anything to compound that. Yeah, I think those parents should be held liable in that case. If the parents are making active effort to stop their psychopath child, but their child is just too out of control. I think they should be able to show, like, we tried, man. He keep breaking his restraints and, then going killing the neighbor cats. Like, that's outside of the control of parenting. But if you know your kid's a fuck up and a psychopath and you go buy him a gun, well, that's on you. There's some liability there. Yogi 2012 Finger is going to issue warrants to shareholders. Exercise price $7. One for every 10 shares, I believe. Oh, that's what they're doing. Okay. All right. Well. Okay. Wolfgang Felix, Houston, humans are the problems, not us, says the aliens. Word. Corporal Walnut, docket 2591 says, filed by other professional plan administrator. Who are they referring to? Another plan admin under seal? My guess is reorganization plan administrator. Which is why, like, Goldberg, I think, is technically correct. People keep bitching and wanting waterfall. And like, hey, who's going to buy this? Like, it's going to be credit bid. He's like, there's no credit bid for this crap because he's the wind down debtors. They don't matter. What we want is who has the nulls. If that's reorganization plan administrator, delicious, right? That's the stuff we want. Alex Bishop, if you won't do liquidation, you will get liquidated. Bingo. KCDB. Set settlement on GME computer share or transfer back to broker, leave it there. I don't have my GME computer share. So mine's in broker. Computer share will let you list kind of high, not super high. But they do also do something kind of similar where they package everything up once a day and sell it. So you may miss certain windows in computer share. Trying to sell. I think a lot of people who have their stuff in computer share see that as infinity pool, like things they will never touch. And then the rest of the stuff in their brokerage is what they're going to sell when the time comes. Peachy Sunday, happy birthday. Short on Boeing and Tesla. Just got back from Arlington, Texas, and was lucky to see the eclipse without any clouds. Nice. I plan on buying Tesla puts. Let's see what we got here. Let's look at the options chain. Oops. I forgot the L in Tesla. There we go. Tesla options chain. What we got? I think for this time around, I'm looking far out of the money, deep. So, probably look at maybe January, December. Let's look at December. So far away, puts 42 cents at $50. Yeah, probably something like that. Buy a whole bunch of these. Because my guess is their earnings are going to be meh, and they're going to get hammered $10-20 in one single trading shift. Right now, implied volatility is really low, so it's not too shabby. And you can buy deep out of the money. It's pretty decent. What's sooner? What's like June? Just out of curiosity. Come on, give me. Goodness gracious. Okay. They got a dollar strike price, but those things aren't moving at all. They aren't moving. $50 ones are 4 cents. You can get a 33% bump in just one trading day on those suckers. That might be, what on earth? The $40 ones are $1. 35 is 90 cents. Why? That doesn't make any sense. 65 cents for 30? My God, people. Especially when you can buy a 65 for 8 cents. Why on earth would you buy a 33 for... just, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't get that at all. Like, a $15 put is more expensive than an $85 put. You people don't make any sense, man. But, yeah. Well, something like that might work out there. $50 put for June. Get that sucker up. Might get to like 8-10 cents, double your money. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Closer than the money is still going to cost you $1,500 though. So that's a lot. Keegan Murphy, what's the story with DXYZ? You guys are asking me all sorts of tickers. I have no clue what any of these things are. DXYZ. Destiny Tech, $56. No idea who they are. Launches fund with SpaceX and Epic Games. Okay. Close-end fun puzzle. I don't know what any of these words mean. So Destiny X must own shares in SpaceX. That'd be my guess, is that they're one of those groups that when they did funding. So if you want to buy SpaceX stock, you're basically buying Destiny X stock to have ownership of SpaceX. They opened March 28th at $25, and they peaked at $59 on Friday the 5th, and now sitting at $56. So it looks like they just became public. So that's kind of looks like the backdoor way to get SpaceX holdings. All right. Any thoughts on JAG-X? God. JAG-X. I have no idea who that is either. Jaguar Health. 12 cents. They've been as high as $110,000. My guess is so many reverse splits have resulted in that thing crashing. Back in 2020, so they dropped to 1,000, and then, or 2,000, and then in 2018 they back up 28,000 and then climb back down again, another 12 cents. So they have not met compliance. They aren't filing paperwork, so they're not compliant right now, which means their stock will probably disappear entirely. So they're out of compliance. As long as they're out of compliance, the stock will probably keep dropping. They got until August. When let's say they have until August 13th to regain compliance again, or else their stock's going to be delisted from all exchanges. So that's not a good sign when they aren't filing their paperwork. File your paperwork. KCB, given issues with Biden and age and Kennedy being himself, and then Mr. T, do you ever see any presidential debate happening in 2024? No. I think Trump's going to be convicted before them. Trump goes on trial on Monday for 31 felony counts in New York, and that trial should be 2 or 3 weeks. Sentencing probably a week after that. So my guess is probably by the middle of May, Trump is sentenced to prison in New York. And I don't know how much time is going to be between sentencing and having to report, but it will definitely be before the election. And he still has another state federal case in Georgia and 2 more federal cases to go through. And if your presidential candidate is being ferried from prison in New York to court in DC and court in Florida and court in Georgia and be going back and forth, not the best campaign trail. That means he can't go to rallies. That means he can't really make TV commercials. And by the time the convention comes around and the RNC is discovering that they're spending all of the donated cash to Trump's defense funds and not to, members of Congress or senators, you're going to realize you got a real problem, and you're going to try and find somebody to take his place and replace him at the convention. So it's going to be turmoil at that point. If they find someone to replace him at the convention, there might be a debate. If they gung-ho and the Trumpers won't let it happen, and no, he'll run for prison. He's still going to be in prison. He'll be sentenced in state prison. There's no way the New York governor is going to commute that sentence or give him a pardon. And if he's elected president, he can't pardon any state charges. So, yeah, he's screwed. Trump has never met a court case he can win. He has to settle out of court or he loses horribly. In KCDB, what do you think would actually happen in presidential debate? Could Biden actually fake it through enough? I think Biden, he can try to be a tough guy, but he's kind of looking like Skeletor right now. But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any necessity for a debate. I mean, maybe they get Trump on Zoom from prison at $26 a minute or whatever they charge for that stuff. Yeah. But, you give Biden methamphetamines or something, he'll probably be climbing the walls and ready to go. Bang a win. I've been here in a while, been roaming around the tickers, and was wondering what your thoughts on Riley. Is B Riley? Is that what Riley is? Right. You guys are asking me so many ticker questions about companies I have never heard of. Oh yeah, B Riley. B Riley is screwed. I mean, they're doing okay right now, but they've got so many lawsuits, and they're on the wrong side of a whole bunch of shorting and lawsuits. I don't see them lasting too long. Their peak was January 2022 at $88, and it's been down ever since. Now they're at 20 something dollars. I think their flash in the pan-ness is gone. They're declaring some preferred stock dividends. They failed to file audited results and grace period ends, so they're now going to be facing probably some federal regulators stepping in and doing forced audits. Yeah. They're not the best company. I don't trust B. Riley personally. Kershaw Kivitz, good morning from Europe. Nice to listen in while driving to work. Fantastic. Nobles, you are on fire as usual. God bless Houston. BYU short interest 75%. That's because they might get a squeeze, but they're doing themselves any favors by failing the regulatory responsibilities. So they might go lower, because right now my guess is they're relative low. 2019 they're at $28. Right now they're at 22. So there's no time really between 2020 and now. If anyone's shorted in that time, if they're underwater, everyone is in the pool doing just fine. I don't see big groups jumping out to be like, let's save B. Riley, let's get behind him like GameStop. I don't see that happening. So all those shorts, they're currently in the black. They're doing all right. There could be a turnaround. They could start filing the paperwork and doing things they should with regulators, but you gotta do your work first before people can jump in and help you. Citizen 54, seeing what the far right is there a far left? Can you be too far left? I think tankies suck. They're dumb as shit. Tankies are usually also trust fund kids whose entire lives are taken care of by grandpa's wealth. But they also, for some reason, believe that Stalin was cool. Stalin sucked. Stalin was a piece of crap. He was a complete psychopath. And no, he wasn't cool. And those same tankies will then, because they're fetish for Stalin, then for some reason have a fetish for Putin. And that just takes them like the full, horseshoe theory. But tankies, for the most part, are completely harmless because there's so few of them, and they're usually just weak as snot. They've never had a difficult day in their lives, and you can blow them over with a stiff breeze. But there is no really true established far left or far left problem in the United States. We don't even have universal health care here. So what the hell is the far left going to do? Right? Like, first thing they gotta do is get health care for everybody. And they haven't been able to achieve that in 200 years. So there's not much of a threat of the far left being, winning anytime soon. Yeah. Penguin, I agree. One side of this trade is getting pounded into the ground. Yeah. That's where I think Riley is at the moment. Riley has done shady shit and not filed the paperwork, and that alone, if they can start to be out of compliance, and if that happens, then they're going to go to the OTC, and then they're going to go from the OTC to the Netherlands. Not Netherlands like Holland, the Netherlands, the nether world, the nether regions. Yeah, so there we go. Nobles, Houston. What do you think about 24 BBBY bonds have to make whole before May 1st? They can extend that as well. I mean, they're in default if they don't make whole by the 1st, and they're currently not listed as being in default. I'd be curious to see what happens on the 1st. I'm excited to see what happens. Can it be extended? I have no idea what the court will do on that. If they'll allow them to rewrite the contract on those bonds and extend them out, or just go, well, tough shit, bankruptcy. That's it. You're gone. I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? I'm getting the stare. See this thing? See this thing right here? That one right there. She's doing the stare. So I'm going to do one of these and give her the last crumbs of stinky beef. Hi, Buster. How are you? How are you, pretty little beast? Oh, gotta turn off the nuggy stare before I, boom, turn that off. There we go. All right, this is the last of it. The last crumbs of the stinky beef. And then we are out of stinky beef forever. So there's a crumb of stinky beef. There's a crumb of stinky beef. Oh, one more crumb right there. So I got 3 crumbs of stinky beef, and then there's dust. But we're gonna seal that dust and throw that in the trash. Okay. Stinky beef. Got one. One little guy right there. Can you get it? There you go. All right, shall we go to Jaws cam for the other ones? Ready? There you go. Da, da, da. So gentle. You're such a gentle little Jaws. One last one. Last stinky beef ever. That's it. No more stinky beef. No more treats. Do we have anything else up here that's treat-wise? Take it all out. Oh no, I've got some greenies. Okay. These are like the chewy ones. So, okay, got some greenies I can give you later. That's it. That's all you get, dog. All right. So there's a greenie I can give her, but those things, like, you chew on them for 10 years and then they pop up. Okay. So, do we have anything else? Bang Win, sorry I came in late. If you've had this question earlier, but since LC has made his expected buy of GME shares, in what order do insiders usually buy stocks in GME's case? RC last in line? I don't know if this is a regular purchase, but I think it's one that he filed for before there was ever a blackout period. And so that's why he's able to get the 10,000 shares, because it's like a regular annual purchase. I don't think it has anything to do with the blackout still being in effect or being over. So I don't know. I don't know what order they would be in if they are back to purchasing regular amounts of shares at this time. Not an idea. Pro Productions, Twins, Mariners, future scores 1-0, 3-1, 2-1, but like hanging out at the ballpark with a fan. So you're calling? Think the Mariners are going to pitch that well? I mean, George Kirby and Miller are the only good, because Miller's going to be the next pitcher. He's doing all right. But then you go to that AAA guy that's taking Brandon Wu's spot temporarily, and he's got like a 13 ERA. And then Castillo and Kirby have been giving up like 8 runs every time they go out. So I don't think they're going to be that low scoring. I think Kirby and Castillo have something wrong with them, and it's going to be a lot worse. Sis 54, what would a Kamala Harris presidency be like? This is a very real possibility, considering we are where we are at with both candidates' ages. I think she is more neocon. I think it'd be more like a Clinton presidency, personally. She's very middle of the road lawyer. So I think she's probably closer to like a Clinton presidency than anything else. Yeah. So look back to 1994 if you want to know what Kamala Harris presidency is going to be like. That will be her presidency. The Republicans will try to hammer her, but I don't think Republicans are going to do very well in this election, mainly because their funding apparatus is gone. Just gone. They're being outraised like $25 million a week. It is crazy how much they're being outraised. Republican big donors, don't really want to donate to the RNC because the RNC is being used as a defense fund for Trump, and Trump controls the National Committee. His daughter-in-law is now in charge, and they're just going to funnel as much as they can to Trump. And everyone who's running for state house, running for the House or Senate and federal level, they got nothing. Governor's got nothing. They're not going to have much cash to spread out. And if you don't have that, if you don't have money in your campaigns, you don't do very well. Plus, in a lot of states where abortion's on the ballot, you're going to get such high turnout of women, and women just don't vote for Republicans. So I think the Dems take the House. The Dems increase the lead in the Senate as a result of these things. I think the Dems take elections in Florida because of the abortion being on the ballot. It's going to be a very interesting election, I think. Stained slacks this time around. My blue slacks. Frozen State Productions. If we go into a major depression, do you think that would be a good place to get universal health care started? Hedgies and other bad actors gone. I mean, if we had different presidency during COVID, it might have happened already. But the thing is, if we had different presidency during COVID, COVID probably wouldn't have happened, because we would have had the pandemic response team in place. We'd have had the USAID fast reaction team in place in China, and they would have shut that thing down before there was ever an outbreak. But both those programs got canceled to pay for tax cuts. And the USAID fast response team, did you guys ever watch the pandemic documentary that came out in January 2020, just before COVID actually happened? It's a great 6-part documentary. It follows pandemic response people. It follows people trying to make universal vaccines for the flu, and it follows these USAID guys. These particular ones were in Vietnam. They're following who go and it's an outbreak of bird flu. Fast reaction team. They go to the farm where it happens. They put the people in quarantine. They kill all the animals. Pay the farmer for the animals. So they get new ones, and it's like boom, 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 boom. These people were stopping pandemics on a weekly basis all over the world. They were in every region and country on Earth, stopping these things from happening. What they did not want is a modern Ebola or a modern 1918 flu happening. And their program was pretty cheap. It was $40 million a year to pay for these epidemiologists to go and be fast reaction. Hey, the CIA was helping them. CIA would get chatter there's people out of this hospital with this thing. Boom, alert USAID. They'd send the fast reaction team there. They'd do a quick investigation. They would slaughter the animals that are infected. They'd pay the farmers for their losses so they could rebuild and then move on. They were in every country on Earth. They were in China. And October 31st, 2019 was the last day they existed, because Trump fired all of them. And then 3 weeks later, actually less than 3 weeks later, November 17th, 2019, first COVID case happens. And if the USAID people had still been in China to do a response, they were working with the governments there. They had full cooperation with the Chinese government. They would have been in on that thing. They would have stopped the outbreak within days. They learned a lot from SARS. They learned a lot from Ebola, and they just fired them all. Why? Because you got to pay for a couple $1 trillion in tax benefits for rich people. So you fire the pandemic response team. So when a pandemic does happen, you have no response. And when outbreaks happen, you have no immediate response. Seriously, look at just NY Times looking for next Ebola. So this is from October 25th, 2019. Scientists were hunting for the next Ebola. Now the U.S. has cut off their funding. Predict, a government research program, sought to identify animal viruses. I am already subscribed. Jesus Christ, one sec. Come on. Yes. Boom. Continue. Boom. Continue. Log in. What do you mean is not my password? Log in without password. Check your email. Goddamn bullshit. Yes, log me in. Refresh. Okay. Oh, you bastard. One sec. This is pissing me off. I pay money for this. Give me my stupid... Log me in. Work. Do the thing. Oh, God damn it. Continue. Log on password. Back there. I'm going to punch everyone in the face. Come on. Let me read my stupid article. Come on. Come on, everybody. Log me in. Jeez, man. It did not expire. What is wrong with you? Can I please? Anyway. New York Times being a dick. Well, let me read my article. There's a wonderful article in New York Times from October 25th, 2019, talking about, hey, they're canceling this program. There's going to be a global pandemic because these people stop pandemics constantly. And get ready. And then 3 weeks later, yay, pandemic starts. The pandemic of not letting me log into my stupid account. Okay. KLDG. Single stock ETFs all the way, just one ticker in stock purely, or so they also buy like derivatives and bonds, etc. I'm not sure exactly how they work. Some of them may involve puts and calls and things, and like doing condors and whatnot. But I think ultimately when you have single ticker ETFs, the real goal is you can naked short ETFs all day long and never face, short sale restriction, reporting on those short interests. And it's a way for you to short stocks that you otherwise run into some difficulty shorting, especially on days when it's on the SSR list and whatnot, or on the thresholds list, etc. I think ideally people don't go, oh, I'm going to invest in this ETF and make a bunch of money over time. I think what those ETFs are being used for is naked shorting those stocks. Really, to me that seems like, I think the Bitcoin ETFs are a way that they can naked sell Bitcoin to people and avoid the fact that it's a non-fungible that can't be created out of thin air in the blockchain. So they got the ETF, and that way they can sell you as much as they want and say it's backed, and it really isn't, and go from there. Yeah. Is XRP price ever going to go up? No. XRP is designed to have zero volatility. It will remain between 50 cents and $1 basically forever. And that's where XRP is going to be. Because it is a bank-to-bank protocol. And if you want an effective digital currency, you cannot have massive volatility in it. Because when one bank from Switzerland wants to send $1 billion to a bank in Los Angeles, they don't want that money, like in the process, the time it takes to process that, they want $1 billion to go there. They don't want 600 million to go there. Or if they send it, they don't want it to all of a sudden be worth $5 billion by the time Los Angeles gets it. And they go, fuck, you want as flat and uninteresting as possible that currency. And that's what it's for. So people who are like, XRP to the moon, it's not going to the moon. It's not designed to go to the moon. It's designed to have almost no volatility in it whatsoever. So no, it's not going anywhere. Citizen 54 Pandemic, How to Prevent an Outbreak, 6-part miniseries. It was a really, really prescient documentary to have a month before the world shut down. It's a good documentary. Even if you are sick of like hearing about pandemic stuff, it's 6 episodes, so it's an hour long each. You meet some really interesting people doing really cool stuff, and then you find out at the end of the documentary that half of them have been fired by the federal government. You're like, oh, cool. And then the pandemic started. Yay! Frozen State Productions, the twins aren't hitting though. That is also true. Maybe Polanco will go absolutely ape finally and get his average up there. Says before, oh my God, Trump literally brought the plague upon this country. Yes. The U.S. is the only nation on earth that had the infrastructure in place to stop this stuff. And between anthrax letters after 2001, the first SARS cases in 2003, and Ebola outbreak in 2014, the Bush and Obama administrations actually like gelled on this. Like, whoa, these pandemics are a real thing, and they're going to cost us a fucking fortune if we do not take them head on. So it was a very preventative program. Like, hey, if we can use like big data and intelligence services and identify where this stuff is happening before there's ever a significant outbreak, then we can contain this sucker before it gets worse. And one of the first things Trump did when he got his tax cuts passed in 2018 was he fired the entire pandemic response team. These are people that had seats on the National Security Council because they're like, hey, national security depends a lot upon how we respond to a novel virus pandemic. And he fired all of them, got rid of them, deleted the playbook. Like in that transition period between Obama administration leaving and Trump administration coming in, the Obama people, national security people, sat down the Trump national security people like, hey, this is the pandemic response playbook. Read it, memorize it, utilize it. It is incredibly important because the entire global economy can shut down. You can lose millions of people. You know, the stock market can go nuts. Like, pay attention to this. And then people responded that there were Trump people sleeping in that meeting. They were like, not even paying attention at all. They're like, oh, I can't believe I have to be here. This is so lame. And then they had a couple of stragglers that hung on from the Obama administration as part of the pandemic response team, some epidemiologists and virologists and stuff. And then finally by May, I think it was May 2018, they fired the pandemic response team. And then by October 2019, they got rid of the U.S. aid reaction team. That's it. No one else. And couple that with the fact that Trump was forcing the Fed to keep interest rates artificially low for years longer than they should have been, meant that when the pandemic did hit, we didn't have the tool of lowering interest rates to combat the collapse of the markets. We had to print like $20 trillion instead. So inflation today is a direct result of A, fucking up the pandemic response, B, forcing the Fed by threats to keep interest rates low. Trump wanted negative interest rates, so at least they didn't do that. And C, having to print all the money as a result of all of that. And so all of the inflation you see today is a result of that. Like 2 programs that cost us $90 million a year would have been enough to prevent the pandemic from ever happening. 2 programs, $90 million a year. Instead we spent $20 trillion. We do this all the time. You know, $30 million a year maintenance of the levees in New Orleans would have prevented $500 billion in damage from Katrina. Oh, we got to save $30 million. Oh, now it's costing us $500 billion in emergency funding. We do this crap so many times. It's like the service engine light comes on your car. And you're like, oh, it costs $50 to do an oil change, so I'm just going to keep driving. And your engine explodes. Right? Now you pay thousands of dollars. Preventative maintenance is cheaper in the long run than catastrophic emergency payments. I don't know why we can't figure that out. How they shut down stuff like this? What's the procedure? Literally discretionary funding. They just axe the budget and then fire everyone, and that's it. So, yeah. Fer Garcia, it's hard to be patient, but we're still here. Most of us want MOAS to work for very good and noble reasons. Some won't get a chance to see that dream come true. Don't give up. You're a good dude, HW. Well, thank you, Fer. It is like, my thumbs are so tired. They're so very tired. I'm pretty sure I could beat a thumb war with anybody in the world at this point because of how just buff the thumbs are. But man, it's, yeah. Shane E. I can post the subreddit if anyone's interested. Did I miss something from Shane E? I don't see something from you, Shane. Did something not pop up? Did we maybe try to post a link? Because for some reason, regular viewers can't post links. So I don't know. If you try to post a link, it might not work. Treetop. It's exactly what we are doing in climate change, except climate change is a much bigger problem when it comes to future spending versus preventative spending. Exactly. Like we could probably spend $50 billion right now and literally stop climate change in its tracks. But we won't. Instead, we'll spend tens of trillions of dollars dealing with the disasters of, flash floods, droughts, sea level rise, climate change in general, land becoming no longer arable, like toxins in the atmosphere. It's crazy. We really, yeah. How do you begin to solve climate change? There's a couple ways to do it. One is causing algae blooms, phytoplankton blooms in the ocean. And you can do that by seeding the oceans with iron ore. So iron ore dust. For about $5 billion, you can create enough phytoplankton in the oceans to reverse 50 years worth of CO2 in the atmosphere. It would sink enough CO2 into the ocean and feed so many animals that have been like starving because they're eating plastic all the time and not plankton like they should be. So we could take enough iron ore dust on ships and just dump it in the ocean, and phytoplankton will bloom like crazy. And all the whales and salmon and dolphins and shit will go eat all of that, and the food chain will be restored in quite a while, and it will sink an incredible amount of CO2. There's a Canadian group of scientists that are working on that. They did a 50,000 square mile chunk of ocean, and they sunk an unbelievable amount of CO2 and resulted in the largest salmon harvest in history in that region as a result of all the phytoplankton being there. And then the Canadian government raided them and stole all their data and like arrested everybody. It's crazy. You can do tree planting programs. You can do a whole lot. Green energy tech can do a lot. But I think the biggest thing is iron ore dust is the craziest example of how we can like restore the ocean health, give animals more stuff to eat, and sink an incredible amount of CO2. So yeah. Shane E. Oh yeah, it's a music generation site, Uduio. Gave me 6 funk songs about tacos. They're actually pretty good. Okay, so that's, yeah, post it to the subreddit because he won't be able to post a link in here. Treetop FYI, studied ecology at UGA with when the economics department and ecology department finished a joint study that calculated future costs of different scenarios. In a nutshell, every dollar spent today saves as many dollars spent attempting to fix it after it breaks. Yeah. Yep. Okay. My voice is going. It's 10 o'clock at night. I've been going for 2 hours. I'll see you guys Friday afternoon. I might have a car by then. The BMW is finally getting fixed starting Friday. I'm stoked. It's been a long time without having a sweet ride to drive around. So yeah, we'll be doing that. Coach Stedman, hello, and goodbye. I'm out of here. So, Monkey, After Dark, original After Dark, shall we? Shaboink. Yeah. I've got 2 cookies downstairs. My name.